Bonjour encore. This time we're talking about the pronouns I and en. What do you use the pronoun I for? The pronoun I replaces places, places that are introduced by a preposition. To the park, in France, on the stove, something like that. It also replaces any phrase that is introduced by a that has an object, not a person, but an object. So like if you say, I play basketball, je joue au basket, that au basket, introduced by a, then a noun that's not a person, that phrase would be replaced with the pronoun I. So what do you use en for? En replaces de plus objects, de plus infinitives, the partitive or other quantity expressions, numbers and other expressions of quantity like a lot or a little or some or something of that nature. Okay, so there's lots of things that you would use en for. Check out the bullet points and see all the different ones. Anytime there's a de, like un sac de pommes, beaucoup de fleurs, or where there's a number, de chat, okay, those phrases would be replaced by en. So where do you put them in the sentence? It follows the same rules as the object pronouns, the direct and indirect object pronouns. They go before the verb of which they are the object, or that they belong to. We'll talk later about what to do if there are more than one pronoun in a sentence. But for now, know that I and en both go before the verb, before the helping verb for the passé composé, or before the infinitive if there is a auxiliary verb plus infinitive. Look at the examples that I've listed here. Okay, here's some practice. Each of these sentences has a place expression. You can take those then and replace them with E. So try and figure out how that would look. Remember that the E comes before the verb, and then the next slide will show you all the answers. Now the same thing with en. Each of the underlined phrases begins with a de, so you'll take those phrases out and replace them with en. Remember to look at what you're doing as you go along, whether it's de plus a noun, de plus a quantity, de plus an infinitive. The only thing you can't do is de plus a person. Here are the answers. Okay, now there's some extra practice. This is either I or en, so you have to decide. You might need to review again which replaces what kind of phrase. Try and write them out, or if you want to, you can just do it out loud, but I will give you the answers one at a time. So as soon as you have the answer to number 1 in your mind, then go to the next slide and continue on through the list. Now on this one you'll notice that there are two possible answers. It depends where your focus is. What are you going the whole thing? In number 7, you're thinking about something. Are you thinking about staying in Morocco for the winter, that whole phrase, in which case that would be j'en pense? Or are you just looking at the Morocco part? Je pense y rester pour l'hiver. Again, you have two possibilities here. You can have the whole phrase aller en Afrique that follows the de and replace that with en, or you can just be talking about Afrique as a whole and put the e in. So it depends what you're replacing. Again, there are two possibilities depending on whether you're talking about purchases at the market or just purchases at the market. Depends what you want. And you could even replace both of them. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know.